can't talk about the future we want without thinking about today and the situations that we have today, the challenges that we have today, the opportunities that exist today, and the people who are here today who can create that future. We can, of course, explore and think about our future children and the future generations, and that's what mankind has always done. But the skill sets that we will have to develop, that we'll have to use to ensure that we're able to imagine what those people are going to need in the future, are going to be driven by skills that connect us as humans, and that's empathy, that's love, that's care, that's inclusion, that's safety. And it has to be about safety of everything: physical safety, well-being, safety of ideas, intellectual safety, and the freedom to be able to share those, particularly the ones that are not so good, the bad ideas, the bad principles, the things that society is going to judge you for, the things that society thinks you're weird for, that you're an order for. And it is important that as active citizens, as citizens who understand where we need to be today so that we can fight and develop solutions for the challenges that exist today, like COVID, like racism, like homophobia, like poverty, extreme poverty. We have to be able to problem solve for those today, such that we can all aim to have access to an equal opportunity in the future. And those, for us, for me as a minister, as a leader, CIO, those principles are driven by what I call radical inclusion, for example. And it really is that we'll stop at nothing. We'll go everywhere. We'll ensure that everyone, every person, in particular women, in particular those with physical disabilities, in particular those with learning differences, in particular those who are not in urban areas, in particular those who don't have the systems in place to allow them to access equal opportunity, whether it's by laws that exist that limits them, whether it's by roads that are not there, whether it's by ramps that are not there. We have to do everything we can to remove those barriers and to physically put in those structures that will allow everyone to be able to access the opportunities with which we can solve today's problems in readiness for tomorrow. And we can't do that if we don't collaborate. There's no way we can address and think about tomorrow's problems if we don't collaborate on solving today's problems and in putting the systems in place. Because if you think about climate change, if you think about population, if you think about growing poverty and growing inequalities, financially, socially, classism, racism that remains, it will require that somebody with power, somebody without power, somebody who's loaded and wealthy, somebody who's poor, somebody who can communicate, somebody who can think and imagine and draw, all have to be around the same table, thinking about the same objectives, developing the same frameworks, or using the same frameworks to solve those problems. And we have to be committed to the same outputs and to the same goals. That goal, that impact, that thing that we want to see in society, that whatever the what is, the what, we have to be able to converge on, and we have to be able to debate and discuss and ensure that it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about the system. The system has to survive, the system has to be better, the system has to be nourishing for everyone. So the future we want, the future I want, is where a young girl in rural Sierra Leone can have an idea to transform this world in terms of climate change in the same way as another young girl who's in Finland or Iceland. It's a future in which a creative artist and musician who's in Nairobi can come up with sounds and rhythms and color and fashion in the same way as somebody who's in Japan. It's a future in which somebody who is a political leader in France can converge with somebody who's from Oceania, and we can all agree about the impact around rising seawater and climate and weather patterns. That's the future we want, and it's a future that imagines and respects everyone, and the ideas that we all bring to the table. And it has to be powered by self-respect, mutual respect, technology and innovation, and a deep sense of understanding and love for humanity. Thank you.